Hi, we understand that sometimes the stories that our congregation is giving us are very emotional things to do. So if you're not able to do one, email it to the church email, and we'll have someone present it online as this is being done today. Karen Jones submitted this a couple days ago, and this is her story. There have been many moments in my life which I felt that I had been tapped on the shoulder by God and reminded of His presence and care. This is one of those times. One of my brothers had been in a serious car accident and had sustained both brain injuries and other body injuries to the point of existing at a level only a few steps higher than a vegetable. He lived in a nursing home but was often in and out of hospitals for pneumonia or other necessary treatments. This particular hospital stay was because of an even more serious reason than pneumonia, and it looked like it may be the end of David's sad life. My mother, sister, and I were sitting with him in his room, and we could tell that he was in pain. I remember praying to God at that point to wrap His loving arms around David and give him comfort and peace and release him from so much pain. I then decided to leave the room for a few minutes to try to get my emotions under control, under the guise of getting some beverages for my mother, sister, and myself. After getting the beverages, I went to the elevator, and as I was waiting for the car to come, a minister approached and smiled at me. When the doors opened, he got into the elevator with me. I pushed the button for my brother's floor, and we started up. At the next floor, we stopped, and when the doors opened, a friar entered and smiled at the minister and me. When the elevator reached the floor where I was headed, and the doors opened, all three of us exited. I didn't look around, but I could feel at least one of the people walking behind me. Before I got to David's room, a priest turned away from the nurse's station and filed in behind me down the hall. When I turned into the room, I realized that the minister, the friar, and the priest all followed me in, bringing surprised looks to my mother's and sister's faces as well as mine. After the three clergy spoke briefly to us about David's condition and expressed words of concern and care for both him and us, they each asked if they could say a prayer for David. After their prayers were said and the clergy had gone, my mother, sister, and I felt a little more at peace, and I could swear that the look on David's face looked more peaceful and less pain. As it turned out, he did not have a miraculous recovery in which he got up and walked and talked, but his dire condition and pain improved to the point that he was able to leave the hospital in a day or so. David seemed more peaceful, and my family and I felt that God had indeed wrapped His loving arms around us. I was reminded that our prayers aren't always answered in exactly the way that we hope. But sometimes when we think that we can't handle any more sorrow, God lets us know in some way that He has this. He will help us through whatever comes our way. Thank you, Karen Jones, for sharing this story with us.